Will you tell me your full name?
Rita Rosemary Johnson,
What year were you born?
1931.
So that makes you 92?
91.
91.
92 in a little while.
Okay. Where were you born?
St. Paul, Alberta.
Okay. What was your childhood like?
Well, it was a kind of so many people. It was, I think you just had to fight to get along. I think so.
Like when you say so many people, you had lots of brothers and sisters then?
No, I only had 8 brothers,
Okay.
but the sisters came much later.
Okay. And you grew up in St. Paul?
Till I was 13, St. Paul.
Okay.
Yes.
And then where
And
did
I
you
went
go
to
from
school for 1 year there,
there?
starting 10 years old.
Yeah. So you went to school at 10 years old was your first year of school?
Yeah, I was grade 1.
Okay. And then you moved to Paddle Prairie
Yeah.
at 13.
And it was, and then it was closer to school and stuff, so I went there for about maybe 4.5 years of
4.5
school.
years. Okay.
And I made up to grade 7.
Nice.
Yeah.
So what did you do
So
after
then
school?
I went away on a job to work out 20 miles away
From Paddle Prairie? Mm-hmm. Which
on
was
the
where?
highway
On the
between Manning and Paddle. Between High Level and Manning, in that area.
Okay. What did you do for work?
It was a truck stop and a stopping place along the highway. And there was everything to do, just everything.
Okay.
Even gardening and cleaning the lawn, and we just did everything, paint the cabins, all kinds of work like that. But I enjoyed it.
Nice.
I enjoyed it because I had a nice place to sleep, which the beds weren't perfect, and good food
Yeah. Okay.
that we didn't have at home.
Well, what was your home life like? Like, what were your mother and father like?
My mother was an angel, and my father was, I don't know, he was a high-strung, anxiety and swearing and everybody.
Yeah.
He would try to get people up in the morning and he'd say, "You die in bed, don't you know? Well, where else would you rather die?"
Right?
Oh no, he was really a high anxious person.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Everybody wanted to stay away from him. In fact, when he left, I was happy.
You were, eh?
Yeah.
Okay, but your mother was an angel.
Well, my mother just did what she had to. Never fight back much, but she'd swear at my dad sometimes because he was a womanizer too.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
How many children did she end up having in total?
Altogether, that would be eight boys and 3 girls.
So, okay, 11 kids.
Yeah.
That's a lot of kids.
Now, how have you got time for anything else?
Right,
Especially if they're boys. They didn't want to help around the house.
right.
They were for outside,
Yeah.
not in the house. So it all fell back on her, everything.
So you're Métis. Your father was, what descent was your father?
French Canadian.
He was French Canadian. Okay. What was his last name?
Partris.
Partris.
Patra.
Okay, cool. After Paddle Prairie, where did you go from there? You went to Keg River, where you had that job. And where did your life go from that point on?
Just around odd jobs, maybe Peace River, and then end up in Edmonton, and getting together with some friends, and I don't know. I thought it was okay, but one of my friends didn't turn out so good, so separate with that one. And then another so-called cousin of mine in Edmonton, would lead me into all kinds of horrible stuff if I followed her around. I was green,
Yeah.
a dummy from the woods.
And you were just coming into the city and she wouldn't show you any of the ropes type of thing, or?
Oh no, she'd get involved with men and course, it would be partying, and you'd end up with her someplace where it's not even safe and all kind of stuff. So I decided I am going to get out of the city. It's not good for me, and I don't like it. So I left and went back up north.
Where did you go to? Like coming back?
Basically, I went to what supposedly was home. But after my mother passed away, that wasn't home for me.
No.
My older brother took over, my father left, and he just came back from the war, and he was bossing everybody around, and I couldn't live under him. I could not live under him.
Okay.
Yeah.
Makes sense. Did you wind up getting married or having children?
Yeah.
When did
No,
that happen?
I had my oldest son before I was married, and that was a very hard thing for me. Very, very hard.
Being a single mom, or?
No,
What was hard on it?
having breaking up after you're pregnant and you're on your own.
Yeah.
That was the hardest part. I don't even want to think about it.
No.
No. My oldest son on my own, and then I met Neil, and we got married.
What year was that?
My son was 8.
Okay. So what year did you get married? About?
66.
Okay. How was your marriage?
The marriage was up and down. It was an alcoholic situation.
Oh, not good.
Well, I don't know. Well, he would be so nice sometimes, and he'd just be bad the next time, and you didn't know who was going to come home, or if he was even going to come home, or what's going on. Sometimes he'd phone me to come and get him. He's drunk downtown.
Oh, wow.
And then he wouldn't come. He wouldn't come home.
So he'd
And
call
then
you to
he-
come and get him, and then you'd go to get him, and he wouldn't come.
No.
Oh, wow.
And then he would insult me. And the other ladies, this would be off the oil rig, they'd come into town and go straight to the bar.
Oh, wow.
And, oh, he was nasty. I just about swore when I said that, but I hold it back. Yeah. He would do things like some of the other ladies would come and pick up their guys, and they would go. And he'd turn around and say, if I had a wife like that, I'd go too, and I'm standing there.
Oh,
That's the kind of way it was, and the next time it would be just beautiful. That's kind of a life. It's hard on your common sense and stress.
okay. Did the marriage
30
last
years.
then? Or,
No.
Okay.
Well, yeah, after 30 years.
You broke up? Mm-hmm. Okay.
Then we got a divorce. I could say lots of bad things about that man, but what's the use? He's underground, and he paid. In the end, he paid. In the end, before he died, I thought he was supposed to be so sick he can't hardly stand up. But he hugged me so hard, I thought he was going to break me apart. And he said, I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. And he literally cried.
Wow.
He said, I was so mean to you, and I'm so sorry, you know.
Wow.
And he died.
And that was
And
it.
we went to George and I went to the funeral because the kids were all there.
You told me a bit about anxiety, struggling with anxiety in your life.
Oh, God, yes. I had that thing they call agoraphobia.
Agoraphobia.
Yeah.
What is that?
Oh, dear. You were scared to go outside. I was scared to go in the back here. I was scared to just complete fear. My fears are having babies, and their babies is having babies. That's how bad my fears were.
Wow.
And that was an overstressed nervous system.
It was just too much.
It was too much. Like, you know, how you can deal. You haven't got time to deal with one thing, you put another one there. And you haven't got time to deal with that, and it's like putting stuff all over the rug
Yeah.
instead of dealing with it.
Yeah.
And that's what happened.
Okay.
Overstressed nervous system.
And eventually it got to the point where it took its toll on you, and you couldn't even go outside.
No.
Wow.
And that's when Neil went away to Africa.
Oh, okay.
But I think that was a good thing. I could heal better by myself than having him around.
Sure.
Because all he'd be doing is disrupting everything that I stand for.
Yeah. So how did you finally get over anxiety?
Oh, yeah. Reading books
Yeah.
on anxiety and praying and screaming at God. I screamed at him a lot.
Yeah.
And, I was in a psychiatric ward for 2 weeks in Calgary
Wow.
because I was not right. And I was alone with the kids. They were small, one grade 1 and one grade 3, and they were living with this woman that was out to lunch. And Neil would go, of course, to the rigs.
Okay.
And, well, we had to live. We had to have money, too.
Yeah.
And then I landed in the psychic ward. And then I had this doctor, psychiatrist doctor. He was the homeliest little man I ever seen in my life. And he was small. And I told him, I want to go home for the weekend. Only if you promise me one thing. And I said, I lied and said I had no intentions of ever coming back there. So he said, if you got to come home on Monday, back to the hospital, I'll let you go for the weekend.
Yeah.
Because Neil was in town then,
Yeah.
off the rig.
Yeah.
And I went home, and I walked back and forth like an animal in that. I walked like an animal in that house, back and forth. Neil took the kids and went swimming
Yeah.
to give me space, I guess, and I needed that space. So I told him, I said, I'm not going there. I'd rather go to the graveyard than come back here. I didn't. So put me on have medication, highs and lows for 3 years, and then I weaned myself.
Nice.
Yeah.
Okay.
And from there I depended on God.
What did that look like?
To depend on God?
Yeah.
Well, I felt more secure and he'd show me the way.
Yeah. Okay. Have you ever heard the voice of God?
Yes, I have. I just forget. I just talked about 2 times, but I think I heard the voice of God 4 times.
Wow.
And I just lost the other ones. I can't remember because, your age.
Yeah. You're 91.
Yeah,
happens, right?
But I know he did. And by that time, I know who was talking. Because before that, I'd look around. Who's that voice coming from? Well, there's nobody in the house, just me.
Yeah.
So that must be the voice of God or somebody.
Yeah.
Or something. So whatever I did. And then I had to discover my own anxiety by reading books. And this one book was very informative about your nervous system is like an electric plug-in with all the things,
Yeah.
to your brain. They're all a bunch of things connected, like you pull the plug, well, you got no more electricity. Anyway, that's what it's like. And I figured that out from a book I read. Mm-hmm. And then when I understood that, that's what's going on and with me, it was better to understand the rest. At least I know what's kind of going on here. So what now? You have to learn how to relax and not worry.
When did you become a Christian?
In 1983.
How did that happen?
It happened on holidays in Quesnel, BC, the serious part.
Okay.
Yeah.
And you just decided that you wanted to become a Christian, or how? What exactly transpired?
I was searching for something very much deeper than what I had.
Yeah.
And then I needed direction because things were not coming together for me with phobia and fear.
Oh, you were still very afraid.
Phobia.
Yeah.
It would come and go.
Yeah. Okay.
So, and guess what? I passed that on to my youngest son.
Oh, you did?
I did.
Wow.
And I know when I did it.
Oy.
He was just like about 4 years old.
And you could see that your
When
sense
I
of
look
anxiety.
back, that's what I did because we went to the Calgary Stampede and all of a sudden I got this goddamn phobia. Like I just got so scared. What am I going to do from here? What am I going to do from here? Can I find the bus to go home? You know, an anxiety attack. And he helped me get to the bus. And I held on his little hand so hard. And that's when I passed my fear. And he had trouble with it later on in life.
He did?
Yeah. And, but he said he learned how to deal with it. You just confront the thing and don't let, admit it's there. Scare me all you want. Go ahead, scare me. That's not on tape, I hope.
It is. I'm recording right now. Is that okay?
But that's how I felt. That's how he felt. Even riding in the airplane, he got one on the plane. And of course, he did a lot of flying. Okay. And then so we helped another lady with it. He got a book and gave it to one of my nieces that had that phobia, anxiety attacks.
Do you still struggle with anxiety?
I don't think so. I can get pretty hyper and scream and get pretty mad.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But it's not the same anymore, or is it?
No.
Okay.
No, I just knew that God was walking with me when I lost my sister because I could have never faced it without God. Never.
Okay.
And I just felt him.
Yeah.
He made me light and made me normal and just everything. And people would probably think, you don't even care, your sister, because I wasn't crying. I wasn't crying.
Yeah.
So they thought, I'm indifferent, I don't care.
But it wasn't that.
No, it was God supporting me full blast.
When did your marriage end? Your marriage to Neil?
Oh, Lord, about 44 years ago.
Okay.
Yeah.
And how long till you met George, your current husband?
About 10 or 11 years after.
Okay. So
Yeah.
you guys have been married for just, 20 years now?
Yeah.
Okay. How did that happen? How did he pursue you?
I don't know. People would ask me, how did you guys meet? Where did you meet George? He's older women, single women. And I said, I just saw him in church and he walked by and I tripped him.
That's a good one.
Yeah, basically. He was leaving church. I was leaving church and I was walking behind him. And he looked so sad and lonely. And I thought, this guy is not very happy by the looks of him. You know. I guess he was down then. That's when he was having the trouble with Rita.
Okay. And how's your marriage been together?
It could have been a lot better if these two things weren't in the way.
What are those two things?
Money and women. But otherwise it would be perfect because we're old. Where are we going to go?
Right.
We might as well put up with one another now.
Wow. So funny.
But it is real. It's true.
Yeah, right. What advice would you give to people maybe that are having trouble in a marriage? What would you say to them?
Learn how to communicate. Learn how bugging you about them. Tell them this is how you feel. See if he doesn't respond, keep on telling him. And if he doesn't respond, it's gone, I guess.
Yeah. What advice would you give to people who are struggling with anxiety?
Oh, God. Learn what you can, wherever you can, and call on God to direct you and help him and help you.
Okay.
Yeah.
What are some of the biggest lessons you learned as a mother, like raising boys, 3 boys?
Oh, it's not a good one. It's not a good one. Because when I look back now, I couldn't have been a very good mother because I was depressed.
Yeah.
and snappy.
Yeah.
And then I went for help. I went to the Al-Anon family groups. I'm brave enough to say that because that's a good group. And then I got better. When I started to get better and not screaming all the time at the kids, all screaming at them. And my middle son said to me when I got better, he said, "What's wrong with you? You don't even care anymore," he said, because I changed.
He was so used to the screaming.
Oh,
he didn't know how
yeah,
to-
he was missing
Yeah.
that. Yeah, he says, "You don't even care anymore, do you?"
Okay.
Yeah, that's what happened.
Okay. What are your thoughts on our country, Canada?
I think it's the best country in the world, and everybody knows it. Everybody wants to come here, and they all say it's the best one across Canada and Alberta, particularly. I know BC. I lived in BC a long time, but I prefer Alberta.
Any closing thoughts at all? Anything that you'd like to communicate to anybody? What does Rita want to say?
I want to say something, but it's concerning people, and I don't know if I didn't name them. I can talk about them without a name, though.
Okay. What do you want to say?
By my experience, there's this mother and daughter, they come to our prayer group.
Yeah.
There's lots of them come, so nobody's going to know, I hope. And her mother wouldn't say nothing, but one of her brothers is deep in the bottom of alcoholism. The mother is really having trouble, giving them money, keeping them in booze. They should be in AA. He should be in AA.
Okay.
And I know all about that stuff. I was around there for 30 years in Al-Anon. And anyway, and then she had more complaints. The young woman had more complaints. She said, there's this woman that I know, and she had a tough life. And she always wants to be around my husband, and he gives her money and stuff. And I thought, that's a no-no. Get your husband away from that woman, because that's a no-no. That's really temptation.
Right.
So
Thank you,
when she
Rita.
comes to the study, she's always fooling with somebody every half hour. I don't know if she's giving a tab on him or the kids.
Okay.
But anyway, that would have been it. But it's not me to say that.
Sure.
It's people to learn on their own.
Right.
Or they want to learn, not be defensive.
Yeah.
Or not denial. Denial is a big one.
Thank you, Rita. That's
Yeah.
awesome. I appreciate this.
The openness.
Yeah, and George is a good fix-it man.
You could fix it, man. Awesome.
And I'm a good caretaker.
Oh,
He takes care of you?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I even do most of the cooking now.
Oh, you do?
Yeah.
Awesome. What a good man.
Yeah.
How did you meet again? Rita said that she tripped you at church. Is that true?
No, we met at the People's Church originally
Okay.
when I was
Doing a course together
Okay.
to
doing
visit the hospital.
hospital visitation course.
Awesome. God bless you guys.
Okay, thank you.
You bet.